Today we shall talk about fishes in cooking. So the classical preparations of fish, common cooking methods used for seafood, these would be discussed today. The general principle requires to be first understood. Fish and shellfish both have uh, non-veg items like chicken or meat. The fish is naturally tender. Overcooking is more likely to dry it out and toughen the product. So we require to see to it that it remains moist and juicy. So fishes, as you know, fin fishes are of two types, fat fishes and lean fishes. Fat fishes are less prone to uh, drying out than compared to lean fishes. Lean fishes, when you're using dry cooking method like baking, grilling, broiling, etc., we require to brush it with oil or with butter while it's being done so as to keep it out from drying. Poaching is a classical way of cooking, and as you know, the temperature is below simmering. It is below 72 degrees that we look at, 72, 74 degrees that we look at for poaching. And this is a classic example of a poached salmon in wine sauce. So the salmon has been poached perhaps in a court bouillon and then it is coated with wine sauce. Sometimes it could be cooked in the sauce itself. This is the example of a whole trout. It's a sea trout which has been poached. This is a halibu. A halibu, if you remember, is a flat fish that can go up to 40 kilos. So this is that halibu which is there in a sesame cooked bouillon. Simmering. So simmering is another option. This is a Goan fish curry. The West Coast, a lot of the times the fish is not fried or it is not seared before it is cooked in the gravy or the sauce. In this case, the sauce is made mostly with either with tamarind or with kokum and of course ginger, garlic and some onion also. But the fish is directly simmered in the sauce. It is not fried or it is not seared. Similarly, you have mean moili. Mean moili, as the name suggests, is from Kerala. This is pomfret fish over here. So you start by starting some tempering with some curry leaves and green chili, sometimes a little bit of mustard seeds, and then you put in coconut milk into it and season it. In this case, they've added in a bit of tomatoes, so it's optional. And then once the liquid is simmering, you add in the fish into the simmering liquid. Is the pomfret has been directly added into the simmering liquid without once again without um, grilling without searing or without shallow frying. This is a Bengali preparation which is called uh, dab chingri. So in dab chingri, the tender coconut it's scooped out, and then in this you have prawn along with mustard paste, which is put and cooked together in an oven. So what happens is now, because even though it's cooked in an oven, since it's simmering in the sauce inside, I've put it under simmering. Of course, that depends on the temperature. I mean, if you could call it poaching also, but I suspect that the temperature that we use in the ovens over here, it brings it more close to simmering. Stewed or braised. If you recollect, stewing or braising, it first involves browning of the product and then after that it is cooked in a liquid, partially dipped in a liquid. So this is climbing perch. In Bengali it's koi mach, so koi mach jhol with some potatoes over here. The fish has first been fried and then after that it's kept aside in the oil in which it has been fried. The sauce or the jhol is prepared and then the fish is allowed to simmer in this. So the whole process, because it is fried and then simmered, so it is equivalent to stewing. And this is of course your macher jhal, your macher kalia, wherein it's a similar process. You have these probably are pieces downs of rohu fish or katla fish which have been first fried and then they are sort of cooked in a sauce or a gravy. Steamed. Steaming is a very popular method which keeps the flavors of the fish intact. Does not compromise on the flavors. In fact, it is the best method for keeping flavors intact because there is no way that the flavors of the product can lose out to any other liquid. Now, this is the best picture which I could get of what is called patrani machi. Patrani machi is a Parsi preparation. In patrani, usually what I have seen it is supposed to be greenish in color because you have coriander and mint leaves along with coconut made into chutney along with some lemon juice, and then the fish is coated with it and it is steamed. That is patrani machi. Patra stands for leaf. This over here is a oriental preparation. Similarly, you have a fish preparation along with some herbs and spices which have been steamed. Grilled fish. Grilling, as you know, is a method of cooking which we have discussed. It's a dry heat method. This is a sea bream which has been grilled. You can make out the grill marks over here. See, these grill marks are a very clear indication of having grilled. This is a slight variation of grilling. This kind of grilling is used more towards Vietnam, Cambodia. This is the style of grilling that is used. In this, it's closer to barbecuing. This is a grilled salmon over here. The salmon has been grilled. These are snow peas. That's a mango salsa. This looks like eggplant to me, and that perhaps is a tomato salsa over there. Yeah. This is a grilled skate. We discussed about skates when we were talking about flatfish. This is a grilled skate along with chives on top, and you have rosemary potato perhaps over here, and these look like asparagus to me. They are white asparagus, one of the costliest variety. Shallow fried. Shallow fried, we have talked about sole meunier. Meunier is miller's wife. It is dusted with flour and it is cooked in clarified butter. That is meunier. Similarly, you have this fish is shallow fried over here. You see, this is a technique which could be used in any cuisine, whatever we are doing. All you require to put in some slashes or gashes on top of it, and you add in spices or herbs of your choice, and then you can shallow fry it. So the particular fish used over here is pearl spot. The Bengali name for it is paira chada, pearl spot. Very popular in Kerala also. Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, very popular. Yeah, this is Ilish Maç Bhaja, which of course is familiar with the Bengalis. You have hilsa fish, which is cut into downs over here, and then it is shallow fried. So the beauty is that in this particular preparation, the fish is served along with the oil in which it has been fried. The oil also takes on the flavor of the fish. Over here we have a fish cake. So I just wanted to show that it's not necessary that for shallow frying you require to have a whole fish or a dan. This is a fish cake over here, which basically means fish which has been made into a mince and it is cohered. It could be cooked fish or it could be raw fish. It is cohered to form and shape like a cake, and then it is crumbed and it is shallow fried. The topping over here once again is a poached egg. Deep fried. Deep fried is perhaps the most popular form of serving fish worldwide. So we have this one is typically a crumb fried fish, as we would do for a colvert or a Kolkata fish fry style. And this over here is the popular form for fish and chips. It's more like fish orly, which is a batter fried fish. So it's different. The crumb fried fish is different from the batter fried fish. In the batter fried fish, what happens is we create a separate batter into which the fish is dipped and the whole thing is deep fried. The advantage of deep frying, whether it is crumb fried or batter fried, is the interior is moist and juicy. Look over here, look at the interior. It's nice, moist and juicy. That is an advantage of a deep frying because the moisture has no scope to escape. It is trapped within the shell of the breadcrumbs or the batter. This is an example of tempura. These are prawns which have been coated in tempura batter and deep fried. So again, an example of batter fried. Tempura, as you know, is a Japanese form of batter, very, very extra light, uh, extra crisp batter. Deep fried Indian versions. There are a lot of Indian versions of fish that are deep fried, of which two of them are koli vada and amritsari. So the first one is fish koli vada and the second one amritsari. Although it looks similar over here, in reality koli vada, which essentially it stands for the fisherman's village in Maharashtra, that's koli vada. So it is red in color, very, very spicy. Koli vada is very, very spicy. Both of these are supposed to be made with gram flour. Koli vada is spicy and it has got things like chopped coriander, green chili, which is a part of the batter. In contrast, amritsari has got ajwain in it, and it is topped with chaat masala after frying. This is koli vada and this is fish amritsari. Baked fish could be baked too. Now, once it's baked, one requires to be careful about the temperature and the duration, because as you see, the searing heat has got the propensity to dry out fish. So preferably the oily fishes are a better option for baking as compared to lean fishes. And in case lean fishes are being baked, they require to be baked at the right temperature for the right time. Higher temperatures are always good so that the interior remains moist, overcooking does not happen. Duration has to be absolutely perfect. This is an example of a garlic rubbed baked salmon over here. So the salmon fish has been rubbed with the garlic rub, and then it has been put into searing hot heat for it to get this kind of a coloration. This, as you can relate, is very similar to our fish tikka, which is baked in a tandoor. So the fish tikka is skewered through, of course, after it is marinated, and then it is baked in a. Baking could have other forms also. Now, for example, if it is coated, if seafood is coated in a sauce and it is baked in an oven or under a salamander, so then it is something like an au gratin. So that also technically is called baked. In case of fish with a little sauce, it is still called baked. Yeah, so that is another form of baking here, where you have a crust over here. So this is a puff crust over here. So the puff pastry inside which you have the fish filling inside, and then the whole thing. So you could have a whole fillet, or you could have filling which is bound with sauce. That depends. So the whole thing is in a pie format. This also, of course, belongs to the baking category. En papillote. En papillote. This is the method. You have a grease-proof paper or a butter paper or a silicone paper which you cut into the shape, and then you fold this side on top of this side. Place the fish, put on the whatever herb that you require to put on a little bit of butter, and then you place the one side on top of the other, and you seal the edges. So it is something on the lines of dum cooking in the Indian context, but yeah, the edges are sealed and then the whole thing is baked. This is called en papillote. This is an example of the fish after it comes out baked en papillote. See, below here is put in some vegetables over here so that the fish does not get browned or colored unnecessarily from below. And the top over here, these are thyme sprigs that we can see. All right. Very close to that is our own macher paturi. So when you look at macher paturi, I find it example pretty close to en papillote. In this, you have the fish, and then you have mustard paste. All of it is put into banana leaves. It is tied up in pretty much same manner. The whole thing is sealed, and then it is cooked on a tawa. So on a tawa, but then the transfer of heat is from below, and then you turn it over, so it's from above. There is no direct contact with the fish. It is just the casing of the banana leaf which is being cooked subject to dry heat. So I feel that en papillote is the best method for describing this kind of a paturi, macher paturi. That would how interior of a paturi look like. And then fish can be served raw too. Yes, you heard it right, raw. This is sushi. So you have different kind of fish over here: salmon, abalone, prawns, shrimps, and so on. All these are uh, placed on sushi rice, and then they are served as sushi. This is ceviche. Ceviche is a European uh, fish preparation wherein the fish is cut into small dices. Fish or seafood, you could have abalone, you could have, let's say, what's it called? Your bivalve, like, let's say, even a mussel could be used, and all these are put together. Either a single seafood or a combination of seafood are put together in a marinade, which is high in acidity, and then it is kept together for a while. For a while, as in 10-12 hours. What happens is the acidity is something which cooks the seafood to an extent, and that's what is a ceviche. So there is no heat that is applied. The fish is mostly cooked because of the acid content in the marination in which it has been kept. That's a ceviche. This is a fish tartar. So that's a salmon tartar. You have salmon. So these are basically finely chopped up salmon, which has been topped with sour cream and some fine herbs, some micro herbs over here. It is an imitation of a steak tartar. Steak tartar is, as you know, made with beef, but in this case you have a seafood tartar over here.